Welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. From the bus leagues to the big leagues, the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast has got you covered. Here's Jeff and John.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 126, and today, Josh Smith, Texas Ranger infielder and current third baseman, is going to join us from Baltimore. But before we do that, hey, we've got to remind you guys, hit that subscribe button down there. You also need to subscribe. You see what's below there, Rangers Today, $5.99 a month. $35 for 6 months, $60 for a year. Coverage from top to bottom of the Texas Rangers. You guys have helped this show become so much more successful. We've had some deals come of it because of you guys. But get your friends to subscribe. It's free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and all of that, and listen to us on Odyssey. That our audio partner. This team is struggling, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. Are we experiencing the Bochy curse?
Yeah, he's won 4 World Series. The previous 3, the next year they did not make the playoffs. I think he had a second place team, a third place team, and a second place team. And really the 2011 team, I think, was in first place going into September and kind of just had and just petered out. But look, winning a World Series is not easy. You play an extra month. You have a month less to recover and get ready for the next season because you finish, and then by the time you normally would get going in the off season, you just finished playing. So there's a lot of things that are involved in where the Rangers are now. Injuries you can point to. You can point to the lack of rest and the extra month, but I mean, I just think that somewhere along the way, other teams have figured out how to pitch to the Rangers. There's just no other way. They keep saying, Bruce Bochy says it a lot. Nobody expected us to get shut down like this, and it's true. They're struggling to hit fastballs collectively as a team. Last year, they murdered off-speed pitches. Apparently, they weren't very good about. I had a conversation with a club official about this. They weren't good fastball hitting team last year, but they did it more than they're doing this year. And you can look at individuals and his bat speed's a little slower. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. Maybe it is fatigue. Maybe guys are playing through injuries. I think a lot of guys are feeling pressure to produce. I know Adolis Garcia, that was an issue that the Rangers are convinced is what caused his bad stretch. Looks like he's finally coming out of it. Yeah. But, this team is 7 games below 500 at the midway point, 81 games. And they're, I think, 7.5 or 8 games behind the Mariners.
Right now they're 8. They're 37-44. They're 8 games back, 4-6 in their last 10, and they have lost 4 in a row.
And they're behind the Astros now, and significant
by a couple of games.
That gap is widening. They got to start winning ball games. That's the bottom line. The pitching has been good. Last night wasn't good. What was Wednesday? Wednesday with Evaldi, that was a little surprising that he gave up 5, but he did go 7 innings. He gave them a chance to win. Last night, John Gray did not give them a chance to win. And then when you get into situations like that, you get to the low leverage pitchers, Jonathan Hernandez and Brock Burke in this case last night, who both gave up home runs. You're not going to win those games, but you're not going to win games scoring 2 runs. It's just too hard to do that on a pitching staff. So,
love Josh Smith, but he's the best hitter on the team right now. Yeah. And when you've got Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, even Nathaniel Lowe, and you got Adolis Garcia, nothing against Smith, who's fantastic. But if that's your best hitter right now, that shows that there's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Smith can hit.
Yes, no, he's proven he can hit.
And he hit throughout the minors. He had to learn some things. I think we'll probably ask him about it a little bit later here. But
ideally, Josh Smith, you would love to have that bat the way that's doing, batting 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's kind of the way your lineup's supposed to be. Yeah. Josh Smith's supposed to be down there anchoring the bottom of that lineup and getting it going.
It is interesting. Yeah. The Rangers came into the year thinking, hey, is is Evan Carter you're going to be your leadoff hitter at some point? Well, why not Josh Smith? You know, if you can find a way to keep he gets on base, he walks, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I know Marcus Semien is the leadoff hitter, and Bruce Bochy's committed to that. But maybe Marcus is better suited in the middle of the lineup.
Maybe he should hit third.
With his power, he's aggressive. Anyway, there are issues, things that need to happen. There needs to be some shaking up here in the lineup, and it needs to be more than sending Ezekiel Duran to AAA. You know, that move kind of caught me off guard. It makes some sense. You know,
they want to get him batting. I mean,
they want to get him going, but he's not going to play every day. So
he's not.
So he needs to learn how to do that.
I said when that happened, this is not that they think Davis Winsell, who I like and is a good ball player, is better than Ezekiel Duran. This is that they are more comfortable with Davis Winsell sitting over there not getting at bats than Ezekiel not getting at bats.
No, that's true.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, there's no question. So it's been a season-long problem. We're not just a month into the season anymore. We're halfway through the season,
right?
And
they just may not. They may be fatigued. The injuries have not helped.
Well, and Chris Young said on the last homestand, there's not any external help right now. The best lineup Texas Rangers have, or the best way to get themselves out of this lineup is for this lineup out of this slump is for this lineup to start hitting. And the talent's there, obviously. Josh Young is going to help, though. I think that he's going to be battling this wrist issue. It's not an issue. I mean, it's a dadgum broken arm, but now that it's stabilized and not fractured anymore, it's sore, it's stiff. He's got a plate in his wrist, and anyway, it may be something he's going to have to get used to. And
he came back to Texas, right? Or
he went to Arizona. He's back with the team now. Arizona is where his surgeon is.
Right.
He was there. He rejoined the team quickly, and he's probably going to start hitting again this weekend. He could be activated next week, unless they want to send him back out
for another rehab.
But Josh Young is not going to, he's going to help tremendously. We've talked about it before, but anybody who thinks that he's going to come in and hit 10 home runs the first 2 weeks of the season, and all of a sudden the Rangers are going to win 14 in a row. It's not going to happen. You got to temper your expectations. He may be great, but he may not be very good. So, but getting him back is going to be a big part of the puzzle as this team approaches the All-Star break and then approaches the trade deadline.
We got to talk about trade deadline. We've said we thought they were going to add forever, but I don't know that happens now. Maybe they do have some pieces they can move to, just to shore up some more of the minor league system. I mean, Michael Lorenzen he's a free agent at the end of the year. This is a guy that somebody could use if the Rangers feel like, look, we've got the guys here that could still pull us out of this, and we could probably do it without Michael Lorenzen. Or maybe there's someone maybe someone needs another bat, and they decide to move off of what's his name? God dang, I went blank. Sorry. Who they traded for and just got in here. What happened to me?
Robbie Grossman?
Grossman, yeah.
Okay.
And that might be somebody that somebody wants. You're not going to get a lot for Grossman, but, maybe someone could use that, and you decide you're just going to go.
You gave up a hard-throwing reliever for Grossman, so maybe you can get one back. But I think your point is well taken. At some point, the Rangers have to determine if they're going to contend or not. And by the end of July, if they're, you need to look at the wild card standings as well as the division standings. Although it looks like at this point, the AL West is only going to produce the division winner for the postseason. Although the Astros are playing better, but the Central's good. The East has obviously some good teams, or Yankees and Orioles are playoff bound, it would appear, and then the Central, you have the Guardians, who are a really nice story, a really good story.
Right.
And then I'm trying to fight off a sneeze here, John.
I can see. I know exactly that look.
So start talking.
Yes. Well,
there we go. I'm good.
Yeah.
So you have the Guardians, the Royals, the Twins, potential playoff teams, and then the three teams in the West. I don't know that there's a room for a second
not right now.
playoff team. And so those are all things you got to, and then you got to think, well, okay, we're 5.5 back in the wild card, but we have 7 teams, or we have 4 teams ahead of us. It's a lot of ground to make up. So all of these things are going to come into the decision making process, and there are guys on expiring contracts. Grossman, Lorenzen, who you mentioned, also. Honestly, you have Max Scherzer, you have David Robertson, you have Kirby Yates. Now, if you want to make a bigger deal, John Gray is under control for next year. A team looking ahead might want to strike a deal for a pitcher who could come in and be in a rotation and be in a winning rotation. John Gray was part of a rotation that helped a team win the World Series. I mean that, and $14 million is pretty affordable for a team. So. Yeah, Andrew Heaney is done after this year, or can be a free agent. So if it gets to that point, there might be a sell-off. You look at what the Mets did last year, where the Mets built themselves this giant payroll, and Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer and David Robertson. They thought they were going to contend and try to knock off the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies. It didn't work out, and so they sold, and they sold big. And
if the Rangers sold, I think their free agency coming into this next year would be, again, kind of like the last 2 years before this offseason. I think they would go spend money. I think they would target some big free agents that they would bring back in here, because I think Ray Davis, I don't care what anyone says, Ray Davis wants to win another World Series.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to spend money. Right now, though, you can't be stupid. You've got to see what you got, see if this is going to play, and since you're scuttling, you don't want to try to go out and give away your farm for somebody unless that somebody that comes back is here next year for sure.
Yeah, and that's
no rental players. They're not going to get any rental players this year.
Not at this point.
Not at this point.
And it's you can go back to 2015, and you can look at the Cliff Lee trade when the Rangers made it.
Yep, they were out. They were out.
They were 7 games back, I think it was. But that move had an eye on 2016.
Sure.
So you could see some moves like that being made, where you get controllable pieces back. I mean,
you mean the Cole Hamels?
God damn,
Cole Hamels.
Damn Phillies trades. But
yeah,
Cole Hamels was under contract for 2 more seasons,
right.
I think, or maybe 2 more, because they traded him in 2018. So it was 3 more. So yeah, you could do something like that. You could see something like that. A lot of money is coming off the payroll next year, which has been a concern, obviously, when they're building this roster and the luxury tax and all that stuff.
The luxury tax is going to go up.
It will go up, and so there'll be a little more wiggle room, but they've been over it in the last 2 years a little bit. So they don't want to go into that next tier where you start losing draft picks and things. So, I don't know. It's a mess right now. We didn't expect that we would be having this conversation.
No. And they can always pull themselves out of this. That is obvious that can happen. But I think at this point, this is what I see. I don't know if they can pull it all the way out, but what you really want to see is when this team goes down the stretch and people start coming back healthy, you want to see that team that just goes on a run and gets up above 500. And by the end of the year, you're going, okay, that's what we expected to see all year. And then that lineup starts going. That really gives you confidence going back into next year, because this is a lineup and a team that should be contending for the AL West. They're underperforming. They're injured, but they're underperforming. That's part of it. Yes, injuries happen, and Josh Young is a big bat out of the lineup, but they're underperforming. And they need to get everything, and every once in a while, all of a sudden it clicks. Everything gets going again. And once you get on a run, you're not going to win 15 in a row, although teams can do that. You got to win 4 out of 5 a few times in a row. You got to start winning 3 out of 4, and then, a few times in a row.
You got to mix in a sweep. You got to, you got to.
Right.
You got
to win series.
You can't just be happy winning 2 out of 3. I mean, you
need to do
obviously
sweeps.
You need to win more than you lose, but you got to.
Right.
You need sweeps, and it's possible. This team could rattle off a great July, and
they could win 7 in a row and be at 500.
Yeah, and conversely, the Twins or the Royals or the Guardians could start wetting the bed, and those teams could come back a little bit, so that when you get to the trade deadline, if you're let's say the magical number is 5 games. If you're 5 games and there's 3 teams that are right there, you might take your chances. Not huge chances, but again, you just got to get into the tournament. The Rangers did not win the division last year.
Nobody,
and they won the World Series.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks did not win the division.
The way they finished in Seattle, I thought they were going to go to Tampa Bay and get swept. That's just the way they were playing.
Yeah. You just got to get in it,
yep.
and then anything can happen. So,
right. So
anyway, well,
Josh Young, you said next week, bro.
Well, he's back. We thought it would be this week, and
what's the deal? They said tendonitis.
Well, I think that's just their way to say soreness. I think he just came back. He's been working hard to come back, and the wrist hadn't been.
Well, he's going to DH it first.
Built up. Well, sure, but anyway, the point is they built up, and the wrist kind of barked back a little bit. There's no structural damage. Everything was the visit to the specialist, and
I think I saw last night
Scottsdale. Everything was okay. It's just he's going to have to play through some pain.
I think I saw last night where the Twins shortstop got nailed.
Carlos Correa. He did not break anything, apparently, according to X-rays. He's on my fantasy team, so I've got to keep an eye on that. My resurgent fantasy team. This is a big money league. I don't spend any money, but it's finally time. My fantasy team, for the first time, I've been in this league. No shit, almost 30 years, and I've never won it. And I've only finished in the money like twice. I usually get so busy that I just forget because baseball, you got to keep fantasy baseball. You got to keep up. It's not fantasy football.
Well, you got all week to decide it and then put it together.
Yeah, you've got to work at this. And now that I'm in contention, I feel good about it. And I'm going
to make some deadline trades.
I'm going to have to make some moves at the deadline. I don't know what for though. I've got a lot of injured starters. I'm coming back. I'm waiting on these injured starters to come back. I have the best offense in the league. I've got Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. Years of finishing last. I'm kind of like that the team, the Astros. You've horrible for years and years. You finally get these good draft picks and they start to come through. So anyway, we really went off on a tangent there, but.
Do we need to do a safe at home segment?
We do need to do a safe at home segment, which is brought to you by our good friends at One Rangers Way.
There's no homestand to have a best player.
Well, we can still go off the last homestand.
Sure.
And I think we all agree that the player of the last homestand on the Rangers side was Wyatt Langford, who had several. He hit a grand slam. He had his first 2 over the fence home runs. The grand slam was a cool moment for him and for the Rangers. They really needed it at that time. And, but he looks like he is figuring things out. The road trip hasn't been as good, but, that just means, hey, he's comfortable and safe at home, and you can be safe at home with One Rangers Way. Live like a champion at One Rangers Way at onerangersway.com. They are now, leasing. Their plan is to open house in January of 2025. You can go to their model at Texas Live.
Right? Yeah.
And the leasing office is up there in the old Choctaw Stadium. Scott and Nicole are our good friends, so check them out. Tell them you heard about us at One Rangers Way and or at Rangers Day Baseball Podcast, and go check them out. They're good people, and I mean these apartments are going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
they are right down the street from the ballpark.
And we are lucky. They are going to invite us over there to check them out once they're done. So we probably are going to get one day. We're going to get over there and see the amenities.
Yep.
Do a little video of it. All right, guys, let's get Josh Smith in here.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, Josh Smith coming up right after this. Hey, guys, the guest segment's brought to you by the Round Rock Express. Jeff, what's going on in Round Rock?
Well, they are home. They're playing El Paso, and this weekend's a big weekend. Round Rock Donuts jersey giveaway to the first 2,000 fans. That's tonight, Friday, June 28th, which is my anniversary. Happy anniversary to Jennifer. Saturday, tomorrow, the 29th. This is the big one. Nolan Ryan Hall of Fame 25th anniversary bobblehead giveaway. First 2,000 fans. And then after the game, the Spasmatics, who are a fun little concert. They're pretty famous around the area. And then Sunday, you have the Latin American Market Day, and it's also Kids Day. So guess what? Kids get to run the bases. They stay in town for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They do not get a July 4th game. So July 3rd is the big Independence Day fireworks against the Sugarland Space Cowboys, the Astros AAA affiliate. So for more information, go to milb.com/round-rock.
All right, guys, and joining us right now from Baltimore, with the Rangers taking on the Baltimore Orioles, it's Texas Rangers third baseman and infielder Josh Smith. Josh, what's up, man? What are you doing?
What's up, guys? Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for accommodating us. I know last time we tried to have you on, you had your little glute deal, and medical priorities always supersede the Rangers Today baseball podcast.
Absolutely.
As wildly popular as we are, Josh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We understand. We definitely understand. So, I mean, you've been in the lineup for what, 10 straight days now or whatever it is. Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think those first couple games back, I was still kind of having to manage it a little bit, but recently it's been feeling a lot better. So it's a good sign.
You know, there's a guy who's going to the Hall of Fame next month who made a life out of managing injuries.
Yeah.
But it's something you got to learn how to do. I mean, you said it. This is the first time you've played this much, or first time in a long time. So how are you recuperating day to day and trying to? I mean, it's a grind. How are you trying to get through the grind?
Yeah, I think obviously it's never good to come out of the lineup, but I think just allowing myself to have 2 or 3 of those days kind of not being full go, I think probably saved me from missing a good bit of the season, or from missing a IL stint, you know. So I think that was kind of the mature thing to do, although I hated doing it, but I just think it kind of helped me out a little bit because now I kind of feel back to normal, so that's good. But yeah, it's a lot. I playing every day. It's something I'm not used to since the minor leagues, and so it's cool for me because I get to watch 2 of the best do it. So I like to kind of see how Seager and Simeon do things, and they both do things completely different, but I kind of take bits and pieces from each of them and just kind of see how they manage their bodies. They're getting work done once a series at least, so I tried to incorporate that into my routine.
Yeah. I make the analogy that a baseball player is like a used car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it starts to depreciate. So as soon as you guys show up to spring training and work out for the first time, you start to break down physically, not like suddenly, but it's just a gradual thing.
It's a long season.
And you know, it's something you have to learn how to do. And I know a lot of young guys struggle to do it, but you know, like you said, Marcus, he just works his way through it. It just seems like he's a worker and he wants to work. We don't see Corey a lot in the clubhouse or on the field before games. He's got his own routine though, and it works. So how can you argue with it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I think so special about baseball is you got guys who do things completely different, but when the game time comes, you know, it's like what gets them to that point to where when 7 o'clock rolls around, they're ready to go. So everybody's different. Everybody's got a different routine, but whatever works for them, I think those 2 guys have found what works for them, and they do it to a T better than anyone I've ever seen.
All right, so a lot of things are working for you right now. You've had a fantastic first half. Yesterday was game 81, so you guys are officially at the halfway point. You're leading the team in batting average. I think OPS. I mean, you're doing a lot of great things after last season that maybe didn't leave a very good taste in your mouth despite all the success the team had. What's the key? What was the key for you to get off to this start?
Yeah, I think I've been asked this question a lot, and obviously personal numbers last year weren't the best, but season-wise, like as having fun and enjoying my experience was one of the best years of my life. I'd go back and hit $180 again to win the World Series. Like it was awesome. But yeah, it's just different when you're not playing every day. It's extremely hard. Some of the guys, ask any bench player in the MLB, it's really, really hard. I'm not saying it's harder than playing every day, but it is hard to get those reps and to have consistent at bats. And so I definitely think that's helped a little bit, knowing that, like the other day, I went 0 for 5 with 4 punchies. I'm like, all right, I still think I'm going to be in there tomorrow. So that's a good feeling. Right. I mean, not having to know that last year, if I go 0 for 5 with 4 punchies, I'm not playing for 3 months, So it's a little different. So.
Well, but what you say, their history shows that if you get your chance, that like job security is huge for people because they don't have to worry about the next day, like you just mentioned. Like Nelson Cruz is the ultimate example, at least for the Rangers. 2008, he gets designated for assignment at the end of spring training. Nobody claims him. Nelson Cruz, who has now retired with more than 400 home runs, nobody claimed him. He goes to AAA, becomes Babe Ruth of what was of the Pacific Coast League or whatever league there were. It might have been the American Association, whatever it was. And then he comes up in September and they say, "This is your job." Yeah. And he took off. That was it. That was history. And so that helps for sure. But you also made some swing changes. And I remember you telling me you got to feel it in your lat.
Yeah, it's
what is that?
It's pretty crazy, honestly, because growing up, like even in the minor leagues, I always hit pretty well, but never knew why. Like never knew why. Just went out there and hit. And I just remember always talking. Tim Hires would always say, I'd be like, Tim, I don't know. I used to not think about anything. And he's like, man, I've dealt with so many guys like you to where they just hit and then they get to the big leagues and they get exposed. And then you got to kind of start learning about your swing and learning how things work. And so I used to be the least mechanical person in the world. And now I could tell you just about everything with the swing. And so I think I've just done a better job of understanding the swing and understanding why I'm struggling at times and why things aren't where they need to be. And so it's just been a little bit easier to make some adjustments.
Well, I noticed your stance too. Your right foot now comes back. You're a little more open. You didn't do that as much last year. That's part of it too. It's just your setup. I guess that's your setup, getting to where you want to be and loading.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I've taken away from some of the guys here, especially Corey, just on how your setup kind of helps you get into a better landing position and your body is just more efficient. And so tried to get, like if you go, I mean, my setup's probably pretty different every day, I guess, but just minor things that maybe people wouldn't be able to see, but just different feels and just kind of just maintaining and having checkups on where I'm at. So,
I don't know that 10 years ago, maybe even sooner than that hitters would talk like you just talked, and you didn't say anything technical, but you talked about your body, and it just seems like biometrics. Is that what it's called? Biomechanics, whatever. Bio meaning biology and body.
Something smart.
And it just seems like that's something that Donnie's big on, and now that the whole organization is big on for hitters and pitchers. So did you have to go to a lab or anything like that? Just have your
No, I've like what I've done this year is it's not based on anything that I got from like lab or stuff like that, but I just think that's where some of the stuff frustrates me with some of the older guys who played the game, which I respect them more than anything, but those guys too thought about mechanics. They didn't have social media to talk about it, but I promise you guys back then thought about mechanics just as much as we do. They might have spit a little bit more and been a little bit more grindier because they could run people over, but it's the game. I don't care what anybody says. Baseball is still baseball. Some of the stuff grinds my gears a little bit when like older guys are like, oh, these guys, this and that, like the new generation of players. It's like these guys are throwing 100 miles an hour with a cutter, two-seam, change-up. Like I got to know what I'm doing. I got to have some mechanical thoughts. So that's just one thing that I've taken. I respect the older guys for sure. Yeah. But they thought about mechanics too, I promise you.
Well, I saw something yesterday that George Brett, who George Brett, was talking about how he talks to modern hitting coaches now about swings and strikeouts, and he said the reason I don't strike out is because my bat was always on the same plane as the ball.
Exactly. That's a mechanical thing. To be able to get your bat on a plane with the ball is something with your mechanics.
Yeah.
If you ask every big leaguer in the league right now, no one wants to strike out. No one's trying to strike out. I promise you that. No one's trying to hit home runs every at bat. That's one of the most frustrating things. Like, oh, these guys don't care about strikeouts. These guys, all they care about is home runs. Struck out 4 times for the first time in my career the other day. I'm a little pissed, you know. Like I don't like striking out 4 times.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Defensively, you found a home at third base. I know shortstop was your natural position, but you're making some excellent defensive plays. You made another one last night. What's the difference? I guess the ball gets on you sooner, but it seems like you've handled this very well.
Yeah, I guess the difference is third is probably a little bit more reaction based, just because it is quicker. I still think shortstop's the hardest position in the big leagues. I've never caught in the big leagues, but I think shortstop, the amount of ground you have to cover, the footwork, and just the angle of throws is really tough. So just playing short, I think, is probably a little bit more harder. But yeah, both of them I'm decently comfortable at. So
didn't you say one time you could catch?
I hope not.
Were you the emergency? I thought somebody said you were.
I think I might be one of the emergency catchers. That's a rumor I've heard, but hopefully Kisner comes in and pitches. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to catch any of those guys.
Are you now with the transaction that sent Zeke to the minors? Are you the backup first baseman if something were to happen to Nate?
I'm not sure, honestly. I haven't heard anything. But
I guess Davis could probably play first.
Yeah, I'm sure Davis could. Davis can probably play anywhere honestly, Davis can play anywhere. So
he has a first baseman's glove. I've seen his first baseman's glove. I don't know if you
have
one of those.
Hey, I want to ask you this as far as that goes. I've always praised your defense. I received crap about it. Look, Josh Young is an all-star third baseman, but I have stated over and over. I said I think Smith's a better defensive third baseman. Josh Young is the third baseman for this team. That's just it. But good Lord, your arm, have you ever had a clock on it? I mean, your arm is amazing.
I don't know if I'm not really sure if I've ever had it, like how hard I throw, but yeah, I feel like one thing people will think about me is I don't have a good arm because I'm small, I think good infielders don't really have to show their arm off all that often. And so I guess maybe that's why. So.
Yeah. Well, and I was never Josh is a great third baseman. He really is a great third baseman. And I'll tell you this, we've asked Boach this bunch too, and Boach is like, he's going to still play when Josh comes back. I mean, he's not going to take your bat out of the lineup. I mean, he's like, we find places to play people that are hitting the ball. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where you have capitalized right now. Yeah. And it's been fun to watch, especially because we've known you since you came up and getting to know you and do all that. But, yeah, man, I'm proud of you. Way to go! This has been fantastic.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and you mentioned something about Josh playing third. That's one thing that I was surprised at. Josh Young playing third is how good he is over there. Like he is, in my opinion, he's a top 3 third baseman in the league defensively. I think he can hit better than however many people, but defensively, I think he surprises a lot of people with how good he is over there.
Yeah, I think if he had stayed healthy last year, he would have been at least a Gold Glove finalist. He probably would have won Rookie of the Year.
He still should have been, yeah.
I mean, he missed 5 weeks there. He still hit 24 homers. You figure in those 5 weeks he's going to approach 30, but make all those plays.
I don't understand. I don't think anyone really understands the Gold Glove debate anymore of what it is. But I don't know how Josh wasn't in it last year.
Yeah. Okay, so one more question before we hand it over. We have some fan questions for you, but. You are on the All-Star ballot. You did not make it to Phase 2, but do you think about going to the All-Star game? You look at your numbers compared to other third basemen, and it's hard to argue.
I definitely. I've thought about it. I think it'd be a cool opportunity.
Do the home run derby? Yeah.
No chance. If they asked me to ever do that, I think I'd be way too nervous to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool opportunity just to even be considered in it, I guess. So I'm happy for that. But like I've said before, it's not a main focus, but it would be a cool opportunity.
Yeah, it would be, and it'd be at home. You wouldn't have to travel anywhere.
Yep.
So all right. All right, John.
Yeah,
John Moore.
so we put this out when you were supposed to come on last time, so I pulled some of those back up, and then again I asked last night, but these are some really fun ones. This is one that I enjoy. Look, I'm a UT fan. I've said it over and over, but this is about SEC, and he said there are some SEC guys in that clubhouse. You guys ever have any smack talk with each other in the clubhouse? You got Mississippi State in there. I know that Seeger was going to go to South Carolina.
Vanderbilt's in
there.
Yeah.
You guys
I feel like not a whole lot. I feel like the only guy that I kind of mess with about it is Wyatt Langford.
Oh, Florida, yeah.
So he went to Florida. My LSU beat him last year in the championship, so I give him a little smack talk about that. But Florida beat my team in the national championship, so he's kind of got that on me. But yeah, I mess with him a little bit, but that's about it.
Who asked that question?
That was Andrew Fegley who asked that. Robert Zarati. He said, being a Louisiana guy, does New Orleans deserve an MLB team? I know there's some expansion talk. Would they?
I am a Louisiana guy, and I'm a Baton Rouge born and bred guy. I never really felt close to New Orleans, so I'm not like I felt so. I don't know. I just never really. I care for New Orleans, but I just never felt like I never felt any like relationship with New Orleans. So I have no clue.
As a friend,
it didn't feel like family to me. It felt like a distant friend. So I'm not sure about that fan base. I don't know.
They're very close.
Okay, so
I love the Saints. So maybe.
Okay, so we got a couple here that obviously Claire's going to come up in a couple of these. She always with the so. One of them was Hayden Herring. He said the YouTube channel getting Smitty with it. Asked him and his wife plan on continuing getting Smitty with it. I guess there hasn't been. I haven't seen any. I followed it. Have y'all not done it at all? He's kind of gone to TikTok now, and
she kind of. I don't see us doing that maybe as much anymore. Probably at all. She kind of just does her own stuff on her social media. So she's kind of taken that, and that's what she just does for a living now. So I doubt it.
Yeah.
So she's making money.
Yeah. She does well for herself.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Good to have
we could use some tips.
Yeah,
she wants to help market the Rangers Today baseball
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, we're building up and doing good, but we
I don't pay. That's the only catch. I do not pay. John here knows that I don't pay. I buy lunch on occasion.
Yeah, my contract is not one that any of y'all would have been proud of when I signed it. Misty Blackman, I guess this is two people that ask about this, but about sport. Do you get a new puppy or something?
Yeah, probably about 2 years ago almost now. So he's a little guy.
He's been starring in some videos. That must be what it is.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. I feel like a lot of people know him, so he's good.
And what kind of dog is he? You told me last year when
he's a Maltipoo, Maltipoo.
He's very cute.
Yeah, he's great.
And I love small dogs. I know you grew up.
Yeah, I'm not a big dog.
Right,
I grew up with a couple dogs, but I wasn't really a dog guy. Yeah, but now I like this guy a lot. This guy's pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, I like a little lap dog. I grew up with poodles, and I'm serious. I love poodles. As soon as we have 3 dogs, 2 of them are older, and
Okay,
the sun is setting on their lives, and when they go, we're getting a poodle.
This was one that I really enjoyed because we've had some people that have asked this too. So it's from Lori Harris. She said, I'm so happy for him that he's had the everyday opportunities. He's made the most of them. His defense is amazing. He's hitting well too. I love watching him play, but if I were talking to him, I think I'd have to ask
about my helmet.
About your helmet.
Yeah. So it's funny. I have a really, really small head. Like I could probably fit in like a 6 7/8 if I needed to.
Yeah.
And my helmet, like the material on it is super slick. And so I actually just had the Rawlings guy come to the field, and we got like a anti-slip technology for the padding or something. So I'm going to try that out. But if you see my helmet fall off, it's 2 things. It's either 1, it's a really bad swing, and 2, I probably washed my hair that morning, so my hair's super dry and it's all slick. So,
oh man, that's going deep right there.
I know it. Yeah. He knew that was coming because I guess he probably gets that.
But you're the anti Bruce Bochy. He has a giant head.
Oh my god,
I'm in the same boat as you because my my wife gives me crap about it all the time. And when she wears my hats, she has to readjust them.
Yeah.
She has a lot of hair, but she's got a bigger head. But
Yeah.
it's like she gives me shit about it. It's like, that's no good.
I'm Bochi. Look at this dome.
I got a tiny head.
This dome right here. You would think I've got the big Bochi, not as big as Bochi, but I got the big round head, and it has nothing to do with the bigger brain in there. My wife will tell you that. I just got a big melon. All right, this a couple people asked about this. Do you have some kind of bourbon collection?
Small one. Yeah, I kind of just got into it.
Let me just say his name's Andrew Errol.
Okay.
I hope I said that right. Ask him about his bourbon collection, how it's coming along.
It's all right. I mean, I don't know too much about it yet, so I'm kind of learning. But just having a couple of bottles, I guess, from friends have given to me, gifts and stuff. So went out and bought a couple bottles. So,
what do you have a favorite?
My favorite right now is just Angel's Envy, honestly, which is, I think, pretty simple one. But like I said, I haven't experienced too many crazy ones.
No, I was going to say that my favorite current bourbon is Angel's Envy. We have the bottle. Yeah. I like the bottle shape.
Yeah, cool bottle.
I only drink bourbon when I go dove hunting.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I don't go anywhere. We just stay in the out in the field. We're just chugging them while we're shooting. But no, it's what we do when we get back to the bunkhouse. I'm not a big. I like beer. I'm a beer guy.
Do you drink it neat or do you drink it on ice?
I drink it on the rocks.
Yeah. Two or three fingers.
All right, let's get him out of here. Last one. This is funny that I kind of like this one from Clark McConaughey. He said, "Will Les Miles clear Christmas?" Wanting to know already. Is Les Miles on a hot seat?
Who?
Les Miles.
A long time ago, for God's sake.
Les Miles has been gone for like 15 years, I feel like.
Oh, I bet he meant, what's his name?
Maybe.
That's right.
Oh,
Brian Kelly. He means Brian Kelly. He said Les Miles. Brian Kelly clear Christmas? I know he's kind of on a hot seat.
I think, I don't know. I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 more years probably to produce some results. I think he's done a pretty good job. So hopefully, we had a Heisman quarterback last year, and
he was good.
Didn't make the playoffs. That's kind of tough, but I don't know. We'll give him a chance. We'll see. Hopefully, 1 or 2 more years. Hopefully, we'll bring one back for us. But no, we got faith in him, so we'll see.
At some point, these universities have to stop paying coaches, buying them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess boosters have all the money in the world, but my God, it doesn't. It's just
one more, and this is a simple one because this girl asked this last time. Her name's Teresa Musgrove Judd. She just wants to know. Tell the story about going from number 47 to number 8. Is there significance there?
No, not really. I grew up with number 8.
So did I. That's what I wore. Every sport I ever played, I was number 8.
Yeah, 47. I'm too small, so it looked super big on me. I just didn't love it.
You're not a linebacker.
Yeah, I had to change some things up, and so I always liked number 8.
So the best 8s. I was thinking about this the other day.
Me,
because I do crazy stuff like that. The best 8s. I think Carl Yastrzemski was number 8. Yogi Berra was number 8, and I'm leaving. I know I'm leaving one out, but anyway, 8's a good number.
Well, what was in Baltimore? What's his name?
Cal Ripken. Yeah,
wasn't he number 8?
There you go.
Okay,
that's a pretty good one.
Josh, listen, man, you guys are busy. I love it that you take time. I mean, every time we see you in the clubhouse, you're always friendly. We come up and talk to you all the time, and that means the world to us. But just taking your time to stop and talk to us, we really appreciate it. We're going to continue to do it a couple times a year. See you in the off season, spring training. I mean, we love having you on. Your social media with Claire, I mean, everybody wants to ask you all these questions, and I know that's been a blast. So we really appreciate you. Anything else?
No. Go out and get a win tonight.
Yeah, go get a win. Awesome. We got to stop this skid, get this thing turned, get the ship going.
Hopefully we'll get it back on track. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate you taking the time, buddy.
Josh Smith, right there. We're going to go down in the Bus League, guys, right after this. Thanks, Josh. Down in the Bus Leagues is brought to you by the Frisco Rough Riders, guys. With Jeff, what's going on down in Frisco?
Well, Frisco's home, and this weekend,
my son was out there.
Beginning tonight through Sunday, is the multicultural weekend. Tonight is Rock into Idioma, which is rock in your language. The Quesos de Frisco will be playing on the field. Post-game fireworks. Saturday, Anime Wonderfest. I'm gone into anime. Kids run the bases. Sunday, Major League Cricket night, and post-game fireworks. They are home into July. They go out of town real quick, then they come back for Independence Day. Nice little break for them. Stars and Stripes night on Independence Day, which is Thursday the 4th. Double post-game fireworks show. Last year, the Wilson family went to that, and it was pretty good. On the 5th, post-game fireworks. On the 6th, you want any guesses? Post-game fireworks. So if you want to see some fireworks, get your butt up to Frisco. Go to milb.com/Frisco for more information.
Big thanks to Josh Smith for joining us there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, he had a pretty view. Y'all didn't see it before, but
when we could kind of see the inner harbor behind him there if you look close enough.
Yeah, well, he didn't. Yeah, but he showed us before we started talking.
Yeah, we don't want to give away his location.
Yeah, but he said, "Oh, well, look at my view," because we were talking about when we had been there before we got started. Anyway, let's go down in the bus leagues, guys. They have started their second half of their season now. So a lot of these records that we're going to go over, you're going to be going, "What? What do you mean?" It's like, well, they do a first half, teams make playoffs, then they start a second half, and that's how it goes. Round Rock Express, AAA, we already stopped at the top. Second half's going. They are 1-2, and they have won their first game in the second half last night.
They did win, yeah, and it seems like they play El Paso like every other week. It's crazy, but down there, it's kind of the same story. They
got a new shortstop.
They did, which is a little surprising as we talked about earlier. But they're just not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and that's kind of an organizational thing. Derek Hill, who's now with the major league team for the second time, he's still the home run leader with 8, and he hasn't hit one since May. Sam Huff has been stuck on 7. Blaine Krim is starting to pick it up a little bit. He had a big hit in their win Thursday night, but it's just kind of nobody's really doing a lot down there offensively, which is a little surprising with Krim, with Huff, with Dustin Harris. It's just I'm not sure. Justin Foskey is there now on rehab assignment. Not on rehab assignment. He was pulled. He finished his rehab assignment, was reinstated from the 60-day IL, and optioned to Round Rock. Cole Winn apparently has the shoulder injury. He was promoted to the Rangers so that he could be placed on the 60-day IL because they needed a roster spot
for
Hill. For Hill, and Yuri Rodriguez was designated for assignment, which
he may get snatched. I mean,
he might. He's got a big arm, and he has options, so he could get picked up. I don't think the Rangers are going to lament losing Yuri Rodriguez. It just hasn't clicked for him yet in the big leagues. So you do go look at the pitching side, and Jack Leiter had still had that great start last week. Johnny Cueto appears as though that's not going to work out. He's been getting roughed up lately. Owen White was a little bit better his last time. And
did I see where Owen White hit 100 miles an hour?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it.
Somebody posted that something about Owen hit 100 miles an hour, and I thought they were talking about maybe Owen White, or whoever it was that would lead me to believe it.
I tell you. Yeah, I know all these players are coming back from the Rangers, all these healthy pitchers, but and I think we mentioned it last week too. You got to feel good about Daniel Robert, who gosh, he's got his ERA is down to 1.98. He's pounding the strike zone, 36 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 27 1/3 innings. Opponents are hitting 128 against him.
Yeah,
I mean he's been in big
hitters league.
He's been in big league camp many times, and
look, they're gonna
not many times, a couple times, but this is a guy that they really thought coming out of the COVID season, they really thought they were going to lose. I think maybe going into 22. It was after the lockout. It was after the lockout. So they really thought they were going to lose him if there had been a Rule 5 draft. There was not. So they also didn't lose Bubba Thompson, which was good because we like Bubba. We like Daniel too, but
if he doesn't get,
it looks like he's finally looks like he's finally ready to do something.
And if he doesn't get put on the 40-man roster by the end of the season, then he will be exposed and he could possibly get sick.
Yeah, he could.
So,
but I would think that they wouldn't protect
anybody promoted? A lot of promotions this week. We're going to do it at each level, but was anybody promoted to AAA?
Not to AAA.
Not to AAA.
The one other note, Chasen Shreve, the veteran left-hander, took his out and signed a deal with the Yankees, his former team.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
Frisco Rough Riders, AA affiliate. They are 2, and the sponsor of this segment, by the way.
Right.
Frisco Rough Riders are 2-1, and they won their first game last night of this second game. So they're 2-1. They're starting out in first place again. They already won the first half. They are the only playoff team so far. In the Rangers organization. What's going on there?
It's more of the same. There
was a couple promotions.
They did get a couple promotions. But first, before we go on, Cody Freeman leading the team with 8 homers and 17 doubles. Josh Hatcher, who is going to be on our minor league show, still right around 300 on the batting average, 296. It's another team that's not hitting home runs. Aaron Zavala. Boy, the Rangers aren't quite sure what's going on there. He's down to 202, striking out a lot. Abby Ortiz still right around the 180 mark. He's playing a lot. The Rangers feel okay about him still. Liam Hicks is doing okay, but again, it's that 1-2 Acker Teodo punch atop the rotation.
Figueroa, who got promoted?
Winston Santos was promoted to.
Figueroa got promoted to Hickory. Okay, we'll go on that.
Winston Santos, who will be making his debut here this weekend. Skylar Hales, the hard-throwing 4th-round pick last year, he's also now in AA, and he didn't have a very good first month there at Hickory, but his numbers since then have been really impressive, and he throws 100 miles an hour. He's a big dude. Forecasting way down the road here, but you might have a future closer with him. I really think he'll get that chance. But
if you can harness 100 miles an hour and throw other pitches, yes.
He's still early in his career, but he's in AA now, so good for him.
Hickory 2-4. They've been playing a little longer in the second half. They ended a little earlier. They're 2-4, and they've lost one. Look, they're only 2 games below 500. They were a lot of games below 500.
They did get a couple new arms. Cole Drake came up from down east. Our buddy Alejandro Rosario came up from down east, and Glider Figueroa, who is not a pitcher, he's a third baseman. He came up from down
and
east.
Hit a home run yesterday.
Yeah, he has a lot of power. I think when you look at this team, Joseph Montalvo, cupboard's not bare in the rotation by any means. Joseph Montalvo, Aiden Curry, who's been a lot better than he was to start the year. And then Mitch Bratt, who's also on our minor league show, just doing good things, doing Mitch Bratt things. So, hey, the on the hitting side, of course, everybody's looking at Sebastian Walcott,
he's been over
really
300 in June, right?
He's having a fabulous June. He's up to 6 home runs. The Rangers just love what he's doing. I know they know he's going to strike out a lot,
right?
But he's hitting balls hard. He hit a ball the other day, I think, is 116 miles an hour. Alejandro Osuna, who should be getting promoted pretty soon. I called him Antonio. Antonio is his uncle. Alejandro, he hit for the cycle the other day. So,
yeah, I saw that.
So that ain't bad. But Jason Morabel, who had the fabulous May, he's had an equally unfabulous June. So,
what about Colley's?
Colley's about the same. He has struck out a lot.
He started off horrible, but
he is striking out a ton. And that's not Cam Colley.
Yep. Let's go to Low A with Down East Wood Ducks. That's the youngest of them, the babies of a full season baseball. They're starting out 2-4. They've lost 2 in a row, so they won 2 games and then someone in there, but they've lost the last 2. This again is the youngest part of it. So anybody from ACL get thrown up there?
Maybe. They don't advertise those as much as they do the other ones. There have been
and there'll be more promotions this year.
I think that what Ross Spencer explained to me is that the guys in Arizona are going to finish out in Arizona. They want to get through that season. That season ends here pretty soon.
Yeah, like the end of the month.
They started early. It'll end in July. So, but at down east with Figueroa gone, Echedre Vargas is having he started out a little cooler. He's starting to heat up a little bit, so that's good. Jesus Lopez, the catcher, he's cooled off some. So it's not, you're going to ride the highs and lows. The pitching staff, even with the departures of Drake and Rosario, is still very good. Jose Gonzalez, David Davalillo, who has a 1.49 ERA. Hello, he pitched. I think he took a no hitter into the 7th inning the other day. Colton Curtis, a young guy. They're just guys. Did I mention Jose Gonzalez? If I didn't, I'm regretful. Brian Mendoza's good. So these are guys that can still pitch it. And then they have, some of the older guys like our buddy Savage,
local kid.
Yeah. And Paul Bonzagni, who's also a local guy. So, a decent mix down there.
Yep. Trying to get it through their ACL. Like you said, that's going to be ending next month. DSL's in full swing now.
Well, the Rangers Arizona Complex League team is in first place by 3.5 games. Yeremy Cabrera continues to lead the league in home runs with 7.
That's good power numbers. I know there's not been a lot around it, but there's usually somebody that goes to that ACL. And
yeah.
Sebastian did it.
He could be a guy who ends up playing in Down East, before the year ends. I forgot to mention the Down East. Isaac Tiger is now in Down East.
That's my guy.
That's your guy. So he's healthy. So that's good. And then the DSL, Rangers, of course, they have the 2 teams. They have the red. The red team is kicking ass. They're 14-4. They're 9 and they're 8-game winning streak. The blue team is 11-5. Both Rangers DSL teams are in first place. So one thing that, you like, well, when are these guys going to go to Arizona? They're probably not going to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
With the seasons overlapping now, that's not good for these guys. Some of them may end up in fall ball. One guy who was promoted to Arizona is Clymer Lemos, the first baseman. He had a 1390 OPS in 15 games, so he's doing
it's
okay.
It's time to come aboard the U.S. over here and see what's going on.
So anyway, and Paulino Santana is batting 241, has not hit the ball out of the ballpark yet. Yolfrin Castillo is hitting 431, 4 doubles. So he started to mix in some extra base hits.
Vlad's little brother doing?
He's in Arizona. He's doing okay. He's got 5 homers. Pedro is his name. Pedro Guerrero. Curly Martha, one of those other signees. He has a homer. He has some extra base hits, 277. Those are the big 3, right. Santana, Martha, and Castillo from the most recent class.
Guerrero was last year.
Yeah, and they're on the red team. The blue team, guys who you probably know if you follow this really, really closely. But if you don't, well, don't feel bad about it. The one name I will bring up is Christopher Hernandez. Is Jonathan Hernandez's little brother. He's finally gave up some runs. He's got a 1.96 ERA, but he's got 23 strikeouts in 18 innings. He's
doing well. Yeah,
he's doing good.
I talked to Hernandez about him, about his debut and all that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get this thing out of here. This has been a good one. Josh Smith taking time. What a fun time for him to join us right there. We're back at it. Rangers come back into town after this series.
Yeah,
right?
they have an off day Monday, and then they are here for against the Padres. So the Padres are tough, man.
Hey, guys, that's where we'll be. So we'll be out there. So like the way we end every one of these, big thanks to Josh Smith for coming on. For Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore, and until Tuesday is where we will see you at the yard. Guys, next time, see you at the yard.